What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, I definitely had no interest in watching this fight. And had a good time last night. Relaxed, cooled out with the fellas, the family. And we ended up watching this fight. Romero versus Ismael Barroso. Let me say this, because I'm pretty sure by now, for those who've heard or watched it, this was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen. I promise you, it just looked like... You guys remember the Montreal screw job? When Shawn Michaels put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter, put him in his own hole, and immediately the referee rang the bell because Vince McMahon wanted to take the belt off of Bret Hart. So he screwed Bret Hart. I swear that's what it looked like the first time Barroso, like he's in trouble. Like really like okay, just count him out. Wave your hand, wave it off, whatever. It just looked like that. Okay. First off, Barroso, 40-year-old against the 27-year-old, however old Raleigh is. I thought he said 27. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But whatever. Bottom line, much older than Romero. So what happens? He's actually winning this fight. He drops Raleigh with a nice shot in the second round. Okay? And Barroso is winning. Now, neither guy is dominating, but he's clearly winning. Like, it wasn't, it was so close, you have to really... No, he was clearly winning this fight. Okay. This guy, Romero, if you see, it was a punch that he threw at Barroso. I forgot what round. And his leg, like his quad, went into, Barroso's hamstring. And he, knocked him off balance. It wasn't a knockdown. The punch that was considered a knockdown wasn't a knockdown. Raleigh hit him. Okay, he might have buzzed him a little bit, right? But he clearly pushed him. The punch is not what made him fall. It was the push. Clearly. The punch landed. Okay, boom, caught me. Then he comes in and with the right, and he shoves him as he's going backwards, and he pushes him. And I'm like, this is not a knockdown. What is Tony Weeks doing? The round that he stopped it in, which was 9, Raleigh Romero, in that exchange, he caught Barroso with one good punch. And Barroso was moving in, what the hell did this referee stop this fight for? It was just like, wow, just more corruption. Let me say before I go on, Tony Weeks should not be allowed to referee another fight, man. Send him over, if he want to referee, send him over there to the Misfits, where they have terrible refereeing over there, and it doesn't matter to them. Okay, we just seen KSI hit this dude Fournier with an elbow, clearly with an elbow. How the ref didn't see it, and he's right there, and they scored that as a knockdown and a knockout. Just saying, send Tony Weeks over there. This is ridiculous. So I'm sitting here going, damn, okay. He stops this fight. What kind of protest is... Barroso doesn't even speak English, but what is he going to say? He knows no matter what he says, what do you think the ref going to say? Oh, okay, my fault. You know what? Hey, continue. So, for the Raleigh Romero fans, you guys that are sitting here making excuses, talking about, oh, he was about to take him out. First of all, Raleigh was losing that fight. Second of all, it's not like he was rocking Morel, so he caught him with a good punch. and he didn't go down. He shoved him down when they scored a knockdown. But even the shot that he caught him with before they stopped the fight, that Barroso was fine. Now, compare that to when Deontay Wilder got rocked by Luis Ortiz. And it was like 20 plus unanswered punches. Wilder's rolling all over the ring, losing balance, staggering all over the place. They didn't stop that. They didn't stop that. I don't care nothing about but it was prestigious. It was for the WB. I don't care. Right is right. They didn't stop that. This was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen. This is part of why boxing sucks as well. Because this is what's happening. People see this and but the drama, see? It might want a rematch. Wait. Somebody in the comment section on the on my community page, I put up something about KSI with the elbow. Somebody responded with, like, yeah, the referee was blind or whatever, but who really cares anyway? I want to please we want real fights, right? I couldn't agree more. But here's the problem. People don't know the difference with real fights and that YouTube misfits type stuff. They don't. You had 2 BS stoppages in the same night. What looks different to them? Here's the crazy thing. They said Rolly Romero versus Barroso had 2,000 people there. 2,000 people. I don't know how many people they had at this event with KSI, but it was way more than 2,000. Way more. So, does it look like these people really care anything about the difference between a YouTube boxer and actual boxers? Then the problem with actual boxers is everything with them, it takes forever to put the best fights together. And they talk like they don't even want to fight each other. So for them to say things like they love what the misfits are doing because basically they bring more eyes to the sport. No, they bring eyes to their brand. What the hell? People, Sean Porter, Andre Ward, all these different people that you've heard, Max Kellerman, all these different people that you heard make these comments, they are outdated with the way they think. They're not bringing eyes to the sport of boxing. They're bringing eyes to their brand of what they're doing. It's as simple as that. It's just like saying American football because it's called football, and soccer is called soccer, but they refer to it as football as well. You think that because they both call it football that one is bringing eyes to the other sport? So if an NFL player decides to go sit at a soccer game and throw the peace sign up, or there go all these different football players, they're bringing eyes to the sport. Or because, let's say they become soccer players, they're bringing eyes. No. It's not what's happening. Rolly Romero got knocked out by Tank Davis. Before that fight, he said, he's the draw. These people are coming here to see me. They're not coming here for Tank. Tank can't draw. I'm the attraction. I'm the star. I'm the one. We know Rolly was not telling the truth when those words left his lips. But let's just think about this. Nobody knows Barroso. So let's just say if all 2,000 people were there for Rolly, let's just say that's all he could get was 2,000 people. And this is the guy that talks and I just love Rolly. He's so entertaining. He's so funny. Do you guys not understand when I say that's the problem with boxing right there? Part of it. People are so into the shit talking. Oh, yo, this guy, I could watch him all day. He cracks me up. Why? It's nothing that he does in the ring that impresses you. It's all the antics. So he's doing nothing different from what these misfits are doing. Okay, so wait. Remember when Rolly said, when they talk about him fighting Devin Haney, People saying he's ducking. Why ducking Devin Haney? I never fight that guy. That guy's so boring. Belts don't mean nothing. Nowadays, it's all about YouTube views, how many, social media following you had. Nobody care about belts. Belts don't mean nothing. I promise you. Didn't Ryan say the same thing? But all of a sudden, he gets knocked out. He comes back, and his first fight is at 140 for a meaningless belt. So you don't want the belts that Haney has, but you want this unimportant belt. It means nothing. So isn't it funny how he went from saying belts don't mean nothing when he came to fighting a quality opponent like Devin Haney versus him and making excuses about Devin being boring, nobody wants to fight him, I'll never fight him, all this nonsense. But you'll fight a 40-year-old man that basically, the way I see it, I watched like 3 or 4 Barroso's fights after the announcement because I didn't know who the hell this guy was. I never knew who he was until, and then I realized after I was watched it, like I did see him fight. Damn, one of the fights that I saw, I'm like, I did see this fight before, but I didn't know who he was, so I never followed much of what he did, anything after that. And I believe if Barroso was a little bit younger, I think he'd have knocked Riley out early. I'm just being real from what I've seen of him. I think he'd have knocked Riley out because he's not as fast as he used to be. He still got some pop in his shot, but he don't hit as hard as he used to either. I noticed, I could see the difference, and I said, okay. But he still got the heart, the determination, and got experience. This is who Riley ends up fighting against. After all that talk about he's the face of boxing, he's going to 140, he's going to dominate the division. We've seen the same thing happen with Daniel Dubois after he got beat by Joe Joyce. His very next fight was a title shot with another meaningless belt. You notice how when everybody's talking about the champions, they're talking about Usyk fighting whoever, or Fury fighting whoever, or them fighting each other. When Daniel Dubois' name come up, it's being spoken as him having a chance at one of the champions. Okay? He doesn't have popularity like now. Gervonta Tank Davis, example. Him and Ryan being the 2 most popular guys at 135. Okay, but he has nothing to offer Devin Haney in terms of titles. That belt he has, that shit is not on the line. Does Devin Haney want that belt? Does he even care about that belt? No, it would be for Haney's belts. You understand? I mean, so he has everything to offer in terms of skill and competition. But I mean, in terms of his belt, who cares about that belt? You understand? So I'm listening and I'm looking at Riley with all this talking and all these antics, and now I'm hearing people saying, well, he's matured so much. No, he hasn't matured so much. He's still the same Riley. He's talked a little bit less, but then this is another thing that he does that makes himself look stupid. He's sitting here talking about how at 140 he feels so much stronger. He's a lot better. It's more natural for him. He's going to be way better. Same thing Teofimo Lopez said, right? But then he's talking about he's going up to 147. It'd be way easier. His full power, everything. So it's like, okay, wait. But whose name is he calling out? Gervonta Tank Davis, who is not going up to 140, who is not going up to 147. Like I told all the smart dummies last time. How do you know he's not going up? Well, dumbass, unless he changes his mind, because he's the one who said, I'm not going back to 140. I only went to 140 to fight for a title, for an accomplishment against a champion there to see how, if I could do it. And I did it. That's all. I just went to 140 just for the accomplishment. That's all. No different from Canelo going up and down fighting. No different. Okay, but here's the funny thing, and this is how boxing works, the minds of people. You notice how when people was talking all of this shit about, oh, well, if Tank Davis is so good, he's so confident, why is he trying to weight drain Ryan Garcia? Nobody was trying to weight drain him. The weight limit, the weight class is 135. And he knows when a guy's much bigger and can punch, well, that guy rehydrates back up and he's way bigger than you are. That's what they're depending on to beat Tank Davis, is their size. But notice nobody said nothing about Canelo. And you go pull up the specs on that fight. Yes, there was a rehydration clause in there too. But no fucking body said, oh, Canelo, why are you trying to weight train Dimitri Bivol? You never even heard that conversation. And yes, they had a freaking weight clause. Oh, that's different though, right? So I'm just sitting here thinking, damn, you know what, man? Riley just put himself in a lousy ass situation. Now he's calling out Ryan Garcia. Okay, wait a minute. I remember him saying a long time ago, him and Ryan gonna fight, but at 147. So, I mean, like, what are you guys? Like the Three Stooges? You're sitting there trying to plan what you're gonna do and when, like, you guys don't have enough power to even to maneuver around the way that you're speaking about. You know Tank Davis is not going up. You sound stupid. Keep calling his name about a rematch. The only thing that happened different in this fight is he'll probably knock you out sooner this time. Then you turn around and you're calling out Ryan Garcia, but yet you claim you're going to 147. Ryan is going to 140. Why are you calling out guys' names that you know the fight's not going to happen? Now, if you, and he just said the other day, yesterday, last night, sometime, he's going to 147. Right? He's going to, so, okay. Why you keep calling out a 135-pounder name if you're going to 147? So basically, why would Tank want to rematch you at 135? He has nothing to prove. You do. But for what? Because after he beats you again, then you're going to go with, yeah, the 135, it's just, I can get down, but the weight is just too hard, man. It's too much. It drains me. Yeah, so it's an excuse, which nobody cares, right? Because once you say, yes, I'll do it, that's all on you. So you basically keep calling out a guy's name when you know a fight's not going to happen between you and that guy. Then on top of this, you heard him at the press conference when they said, how does he, like, the fact that how was he able to go up to 140 and then just get, like, special attention like that? Then what did he say? I guess, hey, man, I'm special. I get special attention like that. You know, he went with it. Like, yeah. Because basically, I don't understand how somebody gets whooped. You get your ass whooped, get knocked out, and then all of a sudden, right? Title shot. Well, this guy, what's his name? Name Jahan, whatever. That guy has been calling you out. And he knocked you out in sparring. Okay? And he's smaller than you. What did Rolly Romero say? I was beating him, I was whooping his ass, and then he just caught me with a lucky shot. That's all that happened. Ain't that the same shit he said when he fought against Tank Davis? Now he goes up, and this is the first time I heard him honestly say, because like when Jackson Martinez put it on him, he tried to say he won that fight and then promised him a rematch and never gave him a rematch, which wouldn't matter now because Martinez is finished. He's no longer even relevant, but never gave him that rematch. Now, for him to say all of that, now he goes to 140, and this is, okay, so Teofimo was at 140. Ryan's now claiming he's going to 140, right? At some point, if you guys actually are going to actually fight each other, it's not even going to have the same feel as it once was when you guys, Raleigh was never really in the mix. You know, in his first big step-up fight, he got his ass knocked out by Tank. But for a guy like Teofimo, who, you know, he beat Lomachenko and then made all the wrong moves afterwards. Same with Ryan, you know, as far as, you know, all the talk, then gets knocked out with a body shot. If Teofimo gets beat by Josh Taylor, and especially if it's like a badass whooping, or it leads to a knockout, does it matter if he fights Ryan Garcia at that point? Does it matter if he fights Rolly Romero, or if Ryan fights Rolly? Does it really matter at that point? Because when they was a part of something special at 135, and instead of those fights happening, it was just this whole, he got to prove that he belongs here with me. I beat the man, that nobody wanted to fight, and all of this nonsense. And, loses to George Kambosos, makes all kind of excuses. I kind of feel like, not kind of, I feel like Riley Teofimo and Ryan were made for each other. Because they all just have like these excuses. All three of them have different personalities, but excuses about everything, man. Especially Riley and Teofimo. But they have so many excuses. And they sit there, like I said, like they're, the Three Stooges, like, yeah, we're going to go to 147 and we're going to do this and we're going to, okay, whatever. Nobody's building their career around you. And you're okay with fighting this guy that you just fought, Barroso, for a meaningless belt, knowing damn well, look, he wouldn't fight Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia was Devin Haney's mandatory and he wouldn't fight him. They talk all of this nonsense about Ryan, about Devin being boring and all this nonsense. No, because when you start saying things and it becomes catchy, people start saying it, and that's your excuse. They all know that Devin Haney can box. He's a threat, and I don't know where these motherfuckers talking about Devin Haney got a glass jaw. You get hit by somebody that can crack, and let's say you get stumbled a little bit, but you don't go down, and you saying he got a glass jaw? We seen Ryan get dropped by Luke Campbell, who's not known to be a big puncher, but they give him credit for having heart, getting back up off the canvas. So now we just credit losers in this shit, in this era. Example, right? And I have to get this off my chest. You know what I notice about Canelo fans? Every time Canelo fight an underclassman, right? They will applaud the fuck out of his opponent. Oh, I salute him. He has tremendous heart. Oh man, I became a fan. I really respect him. For getting dropped multiple times, getting a broken nose, getting bloodied up, but continuing to fight, which is what you sign up for as a fighter. Right? It's always these underclassmen. They dogged out Caleb Plant. But he went in there and fought. Like, what did you think Caleb was going to do? Caleb always tries to win. So, all of a sudden now, after Caleb goes in there and gets knocked out, oh, I got so much respect for him. Caleb is this, Caleb is that. Oh, Caleb's a war. Why? Because he lost. If these motherfuckers would have beat Canelo, they would have made, Canelo dared to be. Every time Canelo does anything, he dares to be great. He's daring to be great. They don't want. Listen, people, stop playing games with yourselves. Every single one of these guys, when they go up, now, notice, right? Bivol outclasses and beats Canelo, whitewashes him. Oh, Canelo dared to be great. Bivol's just too big. Remember, you guys were saying Canelo could go up to heavyweight. This guy's an anomaly. He's from another stratosphere. Canelo's not human. This is all the things you guys were saying. Now, all of a sudden, I see Canelo sitting down at ringside somewhere, and somebody's asking him, is he going to fight Demetrius Andre? He refused to answer. They were asking him, is he going to fight David Benavidez? He refused to answer. What about Charlo? Refused to answer. Now, I'm saying this not because nobody else is saying it, but it's funny because now, even having this thought, I'm hearing other people start to say this shit. But if you remember, I said this shit some months ago. If Canelo is in a position of having to fight David Morrell, of having to fight David Benavidez, okay? Even the Bivol fight. He's not going to beat Bivol. I have to see it to believe it. I mean, can it happen? Somehow, I guess, yeah. But straight up, both guys on the A game, Bivol beats the fuck out of him every time. And this is what I believe is going to happen. I strongly believe there's going to be some excuse as to why the Bivol fight doesn't happen. He's going to duck Benavidez. He's going to duck Morrell. and he's going to wind up fighting Berlanga. And that's who I believe he's going to fight. Just like you guys that had all this mouth trying to tell me that, oh, just you wait, Aries. Tyson Fury's going to sign that contract and he's going to be fighting Usyk. Okay. Same way y'all said he was going to fight AJ. Before AJ lost to Usyk. Yeah, every time you say something, do you guys understand? We all have the right to our opinions, right? And all of us, okay? But what I'm saying, I'm not making my opinion based off of trying to be biased or yeah, woo-hoo. No, it's basically I'm looking at what is happening and what people are saying, and things come up. Everything doesn't go viral. Everything doesn't go public. So like it goes public, but it's not really big. Like example, do you guys know what the numbers were? I still have it. I might put it on my community section for Canelo versus Ryder. They say that they had 250,000 pay-per-view buys. Those numbers had dwindled so far. His last biggest pay-per-view numbers was against what's his name? I just said his name. Caleb Plant. So against Triple G, I think they said it was like 400,000 or 500,000 or something like that. The rematch, and then all of a sudden, with against Caleb Plant, it was 800,000. Canelo is losing his shine. Canelo needs a big win. What Canelo can't do is what you fanboys are trying to do, and that's trying to live off of what he's done in the past. But he did this, he did that. Oh, at this point, he can fight anyone he wants. Haven't you heard different boxing personalities say that? So for every time I hear people talking about real boxing is like, yeah, I would love to see some real boxing too. But do you guys understand? The real boxers are not doing what they're supposed to. Okay? And for people to say a guy has done enough that he can fight anyone he wants, yet he's still in this sport holding titles, that's bullshit. Now, you relinquish your titles, or you fight and you lose them fair and square, and then you're fighting whoever you want, but you're not holding up the division, then it is what it is. You know? But at the same time, no, I'll go fight Bevo at 175 because that was the goal. But if I lose, I still got my belts at 168. So let me be strategic. Then who do I go with? My guess is Berlanga. That's who I believe he's going to end up fighting. And again, not the guys that you want to see him fight. I would rather see him fight Benavidez more than anybody else. I don't need to see the Bevo fight again. But that's his business, what he does. I don't care what he does, what any of them do. But given the boxing news, I'm just being honest about the way I see these things. And if you think about it, right? For everything that's been going on in boxing, period, right? Everything. From the good to the bad. Every time you have a good night of boxing, you have these lapses where it's just a bunch of lackluster fights. Something happens. Somebody pulls out a fight. Fight doesn't go down. Good fight. Good cards and one good fight on the card are two different things. Here's what's so sad. I don't remember these guys' names, but the very first fight on the card last night with Raleigh and Barroso was the best fight on the card to me. But those guys, the building was half empty. There's only 2,000 people they had anyway. But it was half empty when these guys fought. It was more than half empty. It was like hardly nobody, probably just the production crew and the cornerman. It was empty. So nobody got to witness that. So this is one of those things where even on YouTube, people are not going to want to watch it. You know why? It's that cringe-worthy feeling. Man, these two guys are fighting and nobody's watching. So people will not watch that fight. Very few. So at the end of the day, we don't want to see a circus show in no division. And to be honest with you, if Raleigh is going to 140 like he's saying, and going to 147 like he's saying, all this stuff, he's all over the place. Like I said, he wants to rematch with Tank, but yet you can't. It's hard for you to make 135. So why keep calling this man's name? Then you want to fight Ryan. All this. Stop it, man. I think with Raleigh, man, to be honest with you, he owes the old caveman. He owes the old caveman a rematch. Let's be real. I mean, let's be real. That was highway robbery. That decision stunk. It really, even Clarissa Shields chimed in like, y'all done messed my weekend up. Like they ain't gonna mess my weekend up. But it was just like when I saw that, I just sat there like, what the hell did I just watch? Like Tony Weeks, you're terrible, man. You are terrible, man. I mean, I didn't even want to hear his explanation because clearly, the one thing that I know he wasn't going to say is, I was wrong. No, I could see in his eyes. I'm up close, I'm closer to him than the cameras, the people out. He was hurt. He was hurt. And at his age, I didn't want, no, stop it, man. You're full of shit. That fight should not have been stopped. And anybody that's sitting here sipping the Kool-Aid talking about, oh, it was all but over, Raleigh was going to stop him. What in the hell did you see that make anybody even feel comfortable saying such a dumbass comment? He was going to stop him based on what? Because he's younger? But yet he was way down on the scorecards. So, when I saw what I saw, it was just like, okay. It almost made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Because it was just like, really? Really? Think about when Deontay Wilder fight got stopped against Fury in the rematch. And now he was getting his ass whooped, and he talked about he wanted to go out on his shit. He was getting pummeled. He was getting pummeled. Look at what happened to him in the third fight. He got knocked out. You know what everybody was trying to say? Yeah, but look at what happened to Fury in the first fight. If the ref would have waved it off, right, we would have never known. True indeed, but he didn't wave it off. He didn't wave it off. And if you can call that shit robbery just because he didn't wave it off, no, y'all crying about him not waving it off, because if he had waved it off, right, then basically Deontay Wilder wins the fight. But you know what y'all not saying? Deontay couldn't finish him, and y'all keep talking about how hard he hits. And you gonna sit here and try to justify this shit? Like this is a guy that didn't even leave his feet. And when he did, it's because he was pushed. Wasn't even a knockdown. So just saying, and that wasn't even the same round. Mind you, the ninth round, he didn't go down at all. He just got hit, and then basically Tony Weeks just jumps in. Like, what are you doing? That sucks, people. Boxing sucks. I keep saying it, and I mean it. Boxing sucks. And, these misfits have this drama type stuff going on, and they feel like, they go on their YouTube and whatever social media and talk trash and call each other out, then they get in there and fight, and the crowd is going nuts over this. And I think that they make people that can't fight feel better about going to fights, because they feel like, well, these dudes are not even professional boxers. If they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. And they support it. But it is what it is. And here's something. So when you say real fights, they're going to come far and few. Understand something. Fournier said that KSI's words to him, or somebody in his team was saying, like, man, so what? Like, watch your mouth. Talking about you better watch your back and all this. Talking about like, because KSI owns the company, right? So basically, they're telling him like, yeah, so what? It was an elbow. So what? Get over it. It's over with. So what's being done about Tony Weeks' decision? So when you say real fighting, well, you have to have real changes, real results. Not that nonsense we saw last night. That was trash. It was garbage. And for Raleigh needs to shut up. He needs to understand that you making people laugh on YouTube means they'll check you on YouTube just to hear you talk. But they don't care about seeing you in the ring fighting. If you was a big star, like you said, you would have had a big amount of people watching you just for you. And to be honest with you, let's say if Riley was able to get 200,000 people to watch his, look, let's just say if he had that much viewership, right? That wouldn't be so much of a downside. Why? Because nobody knows Barroso. So we could pretty much take it, probably 98, 99% of those people, 99.5% of those people tuned in to see Raleigh. Let's put it that way. Whoever Barroso has his friends and family home, that, yeah, they might have been the only ones that chimed in to watch. Just saying. Because then it's like, nah, everybody pretty much, they here to see Raleigh. You understand? But in the event, live in the building, 2,000 people. Wasn't much going on. Raleigh is not a world-class boxer. Raleigh is not a superstar. He can say what he wants. And people gassing his head up because you know what? Like he said, it's about how many followers you have on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and all that. And that's what he's looking at. And that's what he's basing it on. But that's not accurate. That's not accurate. He definitely needs the right dance partner. And see, after you talk all this shit, telling people to bet their house on you, promising you're going to knock it out in the first round, then you get knocked out. I mean, come on, man. And for you guys, like I said, that's sitting up here clapping and talking about how entertaining he is, y'all motherfuckers is part of the problem. Because y'all sitting up here making him think that his goofball shit is what boxing needs. But then y'all crying, we need real boxing, real boxing. Well, what is real boxing? Huh? I mean, we still waiting on Crawford and Bud. We're still waiting on Fury and AJ, Fury and Usyk, AJ and Wilder. Huh? We still waiting on Canelo and Charlo, or Canelo and Andre, Canelo Benavidez. Huh? Haney and Tank. Huh? I mean, we can say and just keep going through names. We're still waiting for those fights. Yet these misfits are putting their events on. I don't personally give a shit about them, but it's just like, wow. How the fuck do you get hit with an elbow? I mean, clear shot, boom, and the ref is right there. Had to see that elbow. And you can see even when they show it from different angles, you see the ref is looking. He didn't give a shit. So it's what I'm telling you. Now compare that to what we saw with Raleigh and Barroso. Two bullshit calls by real boxers involved in a real boxing match versus a misfits boxing match. Two bullshit calls on the same night. So you figure it out. Everything is changing. It's on the downside, man. It's like I said. It's no balance. It's no balance there. There's no structure there. So it is what it is. But that just it sucked. I'm not gonna say I couldn't believe it, but when I seen it, because I wasn't shocked, but it was like. Because you the second you see it, you get that what, and then your mind just, yeah, we've seen this before, we've seen these weird decisions before. I mean, and this is a guy that didn't leave his feet, and this is a guy that they scored a knockdown for Raleigh when he was never knocked down. I mean, so at the end of the day, people, and let me say this too while I'm at it. For David Benavidez, example. The fact that Canelo's ducking you and using your nationality as an excuse to not fight you, if he doesn't fight, regardless of who he fights, the fact that he's ducking you, you don't need to sit back and waste your time waiting for him like the Charlos did all these years. You've been doing it yourself. Go fight David Morrell. Okay, because Canelo don't want to fight Morrell. He don't want to fight you. He don't really want to fight Bivol. And that's a fact. Why? Because his own words, okay, was remember his countrymen fought him not too long ago. And he said, if he wins, right, then I won't fight Bivol. But if his countryman wins, he's not going to fight him because he's a Mexican. So I won't fight him. But only if Bivol wins. You're basing, if you're going to fight somebody that beat you, based on if this person that they fight beat them. Why would you care? So he's kind of smelling himself too, thinking like, Yeah, I'm this big superstar. I'm Canelo. I can, yeah, man, I can do no wrong. So if he look, wait. So what does that have to do with you if he beats him? The point is that guy Beevil beat you. So he don't really want to fight Beevil again. Found out, nah, this dude way better than I thought he was. See, he thought he was going to do to Beevil what he did to Ryder. And let's just be real. Ryder was getting his shots in too. It's not like Ryder went there and just fell apart. Ryder was getting his licks in on and, ran them up, messed him up, bloodied his nose. Yeah, Ryder was getting his shots in too on him. And here's my thing. They had that tiny ass ring, 16 by 16 ring. This wasn't the 18 by 18 or the 20 by 20 like you normally get. No, that ring was there for Canelo to trap Ryder, punish him, and look spectacular. And he couldn't even get him out in that small ring. Managed to drop him twice. So just saying, Benavidez should be smarter. He's younger than these other guys, and you sit back, you've been waiting for him too, but you just fought Plant. Okay, cool. You see Canelo has options, and you know you're not one of them, that you're not an option that he likes. Morrell's not an option that he likes. So you know how you can stick it to him? By saying, you won't fight Morrell, but I will. And I think that's a good fight. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. As long as Tony Weeks ain't involved, I mean, man, yeah, don't let Tony Weeks referee that fight. But bottom line, that's what you do. You fight the guys that he won't fight. You fight the best guys that he refused to fight lesser guys. Then it's like, Canelo, where else you got left to go? Because guess what? Morrell is his WBA mandatory. Benavidez is his WBC mandatory. So either he's going to forfeit the belts, yeah, just to go fight somebody else, or he's going to man up. And I don't think anybody 100% has confidence he's going to man up and fight Benavidez. I believe again that it's going to be Berlanga that he's going to fight. And people are going to, that's going to be a great fight. They're going to try to make this a Super Bowl. Like this is some big fight. No, it's not. I don't think much of Berlanga as a fighter. To me, he's definitely an overrated fighter. And pretty much, I feel like Canelo will go with the easiest fight that he can possibly get. Teddy Atlas just spoke about Canelo, and he got a lot of heat, which who cares? Because he said Canelo is extremely overrated. Not that he's not a good fighter, because he is a good fighter. But you guys try to make it like Canelo can do no wrong. Everything he does is just, yeah, okay, right. And now for David Benavidez, you look and it's like, okay, everybody gets older. Canelo was in the same position you was in as far as being able to have options, okay, but he was always in a better position than you. Because if you look at his resume, let me scratch that. Not in the same position. He was always in a better position than you. Because even before Floyd, look at the names that he had on his resume. His resume was way better years ago than it's been in the past, just say 5 or 6 years. So when you look at his resume and look, because why? He's the money man. That's something you never were. You've never been that guy. People see your skills. They respect what you can do. But you've never been the main guy. So pretty much for Benavidez to beat Canelo, that doesn't necessarily mean you just become super popular, like you're that guy now because you beat Canelo. Because I believe if you do beat him, the first thing they're going to start saying is Canelo was old, he wasn't the same. Or even if you go back, I've been saying he's been fighting the same way since Kovalev. And for whatever reason, people acting like it's some drastic change. No, he just fought a guy. The thing was, he fought a guy that everybody expected to get them out of here. And like I say, every time he fight a lower classman, they always want to try to find a way to big up these guys and try to make them like they was world beaters. That doesn't help a fighter. I feel like Canelo has also become complacent. See, how beneficial do you think a franchise championship is? When all it does is allow you to go back up and duck who else, certain fighters, just to fight other guys. So basically, if it, like when people say, oh, everybody just expect Canelo to fight all the top fighters. Yeah, when you're a champion, that's what happens. That's what the fuck you're supposed to do. But then when you sit up and say, you criticize other fighters and say they didn't fight the best guys every time, Canelo's built different. Why? When he's doing the same thing? What do you mean? Because he has red hair? What do you mean he's built different? When I looked at how easy Floyd beat him, and I looked at how great Canelo was looking against other guys, and how people tried to make excuses. You know, there's a guy, Showbiz the Adult. It was funny because, you know, with the algorithms, I was watching something with Floyd and with Lomachenko, and he had a video pop up. I just saw the short. I didn't watch the full video, if it is a full video. And I remember him making this comment, and I don't go on anybody's channel to tell them that I think they're wrong or whatever. You know, that's his opinion. But he said the same thing, the conclusion he came to, but I had more detail to when I compared Floyd and Lomachenko. He said when he looked at Floyd, he watched how Floyd was way better than he gave him credit for. He actually said Lomachenko was more skilled. I'm like, the first time he said it, I'm looking like, what? Lomachenko is more skilled than Floyd. Showbiz might not admit it, but I know Max Kellerman, all these other guys, their influence was in that. If you watch Floyd, especially from Pretty Boy Floyd on up, and you sitting up here like you forgetting this shit, if you've been watching and you still come to that conclusion that he's more skilled, okay. Doesn't matter. The two of them will never fight, and if they did, I go with Floyd all day. Just like I said, Thomas Hearns wasn't as skilled as Ray Leonard, but he was good enough. He was skilled. They both were skilled. Sugar Ray was more talented all around, but Hearns knew how to stay behind that reach. He knew how to throw that jab and work off of that jab. So him being a taller, lankier, rangier guy was going to give Leonard problems. So Leonard had to get in. But he had that stinging type jab. He had power behind his shit, right? So it wasn't easy. It's like you're going to take something coming in, so you got to be strategic coming in. You understand? But he wasn't as skilled. But it doesn't really matter if you win, right? If it's a back and forth match. You understand what I mean? So, yeah, those things happen. Now, Lomachenko and Floyd is not the same type of comparison because he has no advantages over Floyd. He's not faster. He doesn't hit harder. Okay, he doesn't have... So basically, Showbiz took all that back and said Floyd would have beat him. And if Floyd would have hurt his shoulder, Floyd would have made the adjustment. He'd have found it. And this is what I've been saying. Floyd always finds a way to adjust to his opponents. Always. Most fighters have to lose first, then come back in the rematch and try to win the rematch. Floyd always finds a way to win. And I'm watching Loma, and I'm like, yo, Loma can fight. Some of y'all just go overboard with all of this anomaly and the guy's epic and all this shit. Like, okay, whatever, man. And then when you look at their resumes, it's like, can you compare those resumes? No. This dude was saying, Showbiz was saying that he was better than Floyd on his second professional fight. Like when he seen him beat Gary Russell, I'm like, so you think Gary Russell was as good as Floyd? I just didn't understand his way of thinking. And bottom line, but look how he retracted. Damn, you know what? Now, he was a man about it and made it known that, I was wrong. Floyd would have beat him. Now, he didn't have to come back and say that. He could have just left it like it was. Doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, this is the point what I'm saying about people. They forget. How many times have you seen Floyd sit in front of a camera and tell it, mate, my body's breaking down, my hands are starting to bother me after every fight now? Yeah, y'all keep talking shit about, Floyd wouldn't have beat this guy. Wait, he's beating the top guys, and he's not even 100%. But he was so sharp, so skilled, he used his common sense and knew what he had to do to win the fight. Right? So you hear Keith Thurman talking shit now, talking about how he could never shake Floyd's hand because he didn't respect him. He didn't respect him. Keith Thurman, you ducked Errol Spence forever. You ducked Terrence Crawford forever. And although you do have a respectable, decent kind of resume when you think about it, because, I mean, the Sean Porter, the Garcia fight, you know, he got some names on there. Got his ass whooped by a 40-year-old Pacquiao. So what the fuck you think you did with Floyd? But got your ass embarrassed. These guys talk about what somebody else did or didn't do. You know, if you hear the Tim Bradley story about why him and Floyd didn't fight, it's like, yeah, okay. They always try to make it seem like Floyd didn't want the fight. What the fuck does Tim Bradley have that Floyd couldn't handle? What does Keith Thurman have that Floyd couldn't handle? And when he couldn't beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, the excuse was, oh, that's because Keith Thurman's living his best life. He's married and he's not hungry anymore. What are you guys like? Are you like got binoculars peeking in his house to see what Keith Thurman? How the fuck would you know that? All of this nonsense. But this is the thing. As boxing goes on, you hear that saying, the last of the Mohegans? Yeah, the Floyds, the Pacquiaos, the Juan Manuel Marquezes, these guys, the Shane Mosleys, the De La Hoyas. Let's be real. You don't have these guys like that right now. In the community section of my channel, I put up a little, questionnaire about who would win between Errol Spence and Felix Trinidad. And Trinidad has the majority of votes that he would have beat Errol Spence. Now, you always going to get different, opinions and views from different people. But let me say, I really don't think none of these guys was as good as the Trinidads, the De La Hoyas, the Pacquiaos, the Floyds, the Pernell Whitakers, the Terry Norrises. I don't think none of these guys is that good. I just don't. I think Terrence Crawford is skilled, but I still see weaknesses in his game too, where it's certain things that people just don't pay attention to. But that killer instinct, that everything that you need to just be, and one thing I say, when you so good that you fight a motherfucker, you figure him out, and then it's just like, oh, I could play with him for the rest of the night. The fans don't understand when a fighter's doing it. Like, okay, I'm just going to smack him around. I don't have to knock him out. I'm just going to smack this motherfucker around and just win every round. I really don't see these guys. I mean, can we honestly say that Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, who else? Who else is there? Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Can we say that those guys would have beat like a William Joppy? Was they actually better than a David Reed? Do we honestly really know that? Was they better than Trinidad and De La Hoya? Could they have beat Pernell? I mean, now, we know some of the sizes is different, but you understand what I'm saying? A guy like a Zuma Nelson, these motherfuckers just, man, they're good, but to me, they're like beneath. They're not as good as what the class before them was, in my opinion. I don't see that even with the heavyweights all, and people keep talking this shit about how this heavyweight division is so stacked. They're way better than, no, they may be a few fighters that's out there that's better than the majority of the Klitschko era. And this is where people get shit twisted. When y'all say, oh, the Klitschko era, no. Klitschko came towards the end of the Holyfield, the Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Michael Mora, Riddick Bowe, Tommy Morrison, Razor Ruddock, Ike Abeyabuchi, David Tua, they came towards the end of that. They was not there. They much younger than these guys. So they came towards the end of that era. So every time people say that, I'm like, okay, I see. Because Vitaly Klitschko fought Lennox. That's what they don't understand. Lennox was 38 years old when he fought Vitaly. This wasn't even a prime Lennox. Yeah, Lennox was a late bloomer and all that. I get that. Regardless, this was a 38-year-old Lennox that has had wars. Okay? Vitaly was good. Vladimir was good. Better when he got with Emmanuel Stewart. I remember him getting knocked out by Corey Sanders, Layman Brewster, and then he started getting this shit together. And then years later, years and years after he went in fight after fight after fight and was champion, they kept bringing up the fact that he got knocked out. But that's the thing. They came, like I said, towards the end of that. So when people would say that shit, it's like, man, listen, this is something that people would understand. Stop thinking being the money man makes you an all-time great. Stop thinking that because a popularity contest, that makes you an all-time great. Now, I think when it's all said and done, that Canelo will go down in the Hall of Fame. But I'm saying this flat out, and I've been saying this for years. I don't see Canelo the way everybody else do. Because I see the holes in his game. I see the type of people he liked to fight. I see the type of styles he stay away from. Even though y'all may sit and overlook and think, oh, that guy's not on his level. That's why he'll tell you a guy like Demetrius Andrade is a horrible fighter and he's fought no one. Yet he fights John Ryder. So this is what I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to close this video. Canelo's a good fighter. Tank Davis, Usyk, all these different guys. You have some, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. But we have come into an era of popularity means all-time great. That's the era we've come in. Who's the money man right now? That's all-time great. Yet, y'all said money don't mean nothing. Being undefeated don't mean nothing. That's what y'all said. And y'all know why y'all said it and who y'all was referencing when y'all said that. But at the same time, where y'all look stupid is that same guy beat all these motherfuckers that y'all trying to call all-time greats right now. And with all the excuses about, oh, they was too young or too old. I don't need to make any excuses for anybody. So my whole thing is, boxing as a whole, until it finds structure and balance, it's going to be on a decline for the longest. I mean, if I'm sitting now and it's me, look at what's going on with Wilder, AJ, Fury, and Usyk. If I'm in that conversation, I'm like, man, your bitch ass better sign that fucking contract or me and you gonna fight right here. The fuck is wrong with you? We all stand to make X amount of millions and your bitch ass trying to be greedy. No, you don't want nobody else to eat but you. Ain't no fucking way I could be a part of it. They probably don't have them all at the same time. They probably doing this shit, Zoom meetings or some shit or whatever. Cause ain't no way you gonna fuck up the money. Let that you know what? Me and you. Fuck them. Since they don't want to do it, or that, me and you. Me and you do it. We can headline. Boxing is just, it's out of control, man. So I just wanted to take the time to put this in because I'm not going to make another video about this topic with Raleigh and the caveman or whatever. I really couldn't give him all this time anyway because nobody gave a fuck about that fight. But the fact that it happened and the thing that transpired, it was like, nah, I got to talk about this. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.